We could roll the tape. Good afternoon. I'll call to order this meeting of the Hennepin County Board of Commissioners on Tuesday, July 8th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. Test. I'm Irene Fernando, Chair of the Board and District 2 Commissioner. I'm joined by District 1 Commissioner Jeff Lundy, District 4 Commissioner Angela Conley, Vice Chair and District 5 Commissioner Debbie Gotel, District 6 Commissioner Heather Edelson, and District 7 Commissioner Kevin Anderson. Hennepin County acknowledges that the magnificent land and vibrant waterways from which our institutions benefit are located upon the cultural, spiritual, and indigenous homeland of the Dakota Oyate. Hennepin County calls attention to the Dakota people's ongoing connection to this special place. Onto the agenda, the first item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next is the approval of the agenda. I would move it with one change. I'd like to move 13E to right after Hennepin highlights and before minutes. With that amended agenda, I've moved it. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 3 is Hennepin highlights, honoring Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman, offered by all commissioners. At our committee meeting on June 24th, we recognized and acknowledged the events of June 14, including the political assassination of Madam Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, as well as the attempted murder of Senator John Hoffman, his wife Yvette, and their daughter. As a board, we would like to take this moment to specifically honor Representative Melissa Hortman and her family and celebrate her life and legacy. I'd like to ask the clerk to read the proclamation that we will vote on after this highlight, and then I'll invite colleagues who would like to speak to share their messages for Melissa Hortman and her family.
Whereas Melissa Hortman served for more than 20 years in the Minnesota House of Representatives, where she represented her constituents in Anoka and Hennepin counties. And whereas Representative Hortman served as Speaker of the Minnesota House of Representatives from 2019 to 2025. And whereas during her tenure in the legislature, Speaker Emerita Hortman championed transformational legislation in the areas of environment and energy, education, and healthcare that impacted all Minnesotans. And whereas outside of her work as a state representative, Hortman also worked for the Hennepin County Attorney's Office for a number of years and served as Assistant Hennepin County Attorney from 2013 to 2016. And whereas Speaker Emerita Hortman was an exceptional leader who served with compassion, focus, wisdom, humor, and a devotion to the people she served. And whereas in honoring her memory, we look to the direction of her children who stated, "The best way to honor our parents' memory is to do something, whether big or small, to make our community just a little bit better for someone else." And whereas we extend our deepest condolences to Melissa and Mark Hortman's children, family, friends, and community for this unimaginable loss. Therefore, be it resolved that the Hennepin County Board of Commissioners recognizes and honors the life and legacy of Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman. And be it further resolved that the Hennepin County Board of Commissioners denounces political violence and the intensifying violent rhetoric that threatens the livelihoods of our public servants at all levels of government.
So we will move and vote on that item after the Hennepin highlight. I'll share that an estimated 1,500 people attended the candlelight vigil on Wednesday, June 18th, honoring Melissa and her husband. And on Friday, June 27, thousands of Minnesotans and political leaders from across the country, including former President Joe Biden, paid their respects to Madam Speaker Hortman, her husband Mark, and their dog Gilbert as they lied in state at the Minnesota State Capitol. Lying in state is a rare honor reserved for high-ranking public officials, and Melissa was the first woman to lie in state in Minnesota. The Lowry Avenue Bridge was also lit green on June 27 and 28 in her honor to recognize her commitment to environmental causes. It will also be lit again tonight. It is incredibly clear the magnitude of impact Melissa had on the state of Minnesota, its residents, and furthermore, her impact on the country as a nationally recognized leader on energy policy. She leaves behind an incredible legacy that will be remembered for generations to come. Every time a student sits down to eat lunch at school, a new parent takes family leave, or a Minnesotan subscribes to a community solar garden. I'll open up the floor to see if any colleagues would like to share some words. Commissioner Ellison.
It's really hard for me to talk about Melissa, and even looking at her picture is painful. I was with her 2 days before she was senselessly murdered, and in the picture that we're seeing in my mind, that's not her seat. That's where she sat the very last session. But when I was elected in 2018, her seat was on the speaker's rostrum. And so Speaker Emeritus is not what I will ever call her. She is Speaker to me. She was the longest serving Speaker in Minnesota's history. And proudly, I elected her all 3 times, along with 70 of my colleagues. She's balanced 3 state budgets. She kept 70 people together and 68 people together. And I can tell you that is an incredibly challenging thing to do, because not all Democrats are the same. We have varying views on things, and we're discussing things like paid family leave, where she stood for that and made that a priority when we had the trifecta. She did not want to waste that trifecta. She was there when marriage equality was passed, and she knew that there were things that needed to be done during that moment that we had that majority in 2022 that we didn't waste. We passed universal school meals, and those of us that grew up with free and reduced lunch know that you used to get a different color ticket. And that was me, and sometimes I wouldn't eat lunch. And that was something that we fought for as a caucus. There was Restore the Vote, where people were defined, would they be on probation in the state of Minnesota for a very long time, and they still were not able to vote. It was something that we were able to push through, and it was because of Melissa's help that we were able to do that. Clean energy, when I think about the things that she'd done, she loved clean energy. It was like her policy passion, and she would start talking about it, and honestly, it would go over my head. I was like, I don't know what you're saying. But she loved that, and she was very wonky. But at her funeral, I will say one of the things that in public service and in all of the roles that we do here, we forget. Some people will just take and take until there's no more to give. Melissa, we heard from a good friend of hers that a lot of us didn't even know, because a lot of us are work colleagues, right? And her friend got up there, and she knew the kids from growing up, and she painted this picture of Melissa that I had never seen before, and I loved it. I loved the idea of Melissa being able to have her margaritas, which she loved, but have them and not be thinking about always work and the fights that we have to fight. And so she was an amazing woman, and I'm honored to be paying tribute to her today.
Commissioner Lundy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think Commissioner Ellison spoke much more eloquently than I could. I just knew, Melissa from being my state rep. Or one of my bosses, as I like to say, and her husband, Mark, who I had conversations with as well, knew where they lived. It was on that door knocking trek that we all do. And so for many years, it was my privilege to represent her when I was a member of the city council and as mayor. I am always struck by, and I think it's a good lesson, that when someone passes, whether it's tragically and senselessly, as in Speaker Hortman, or whether it's just from living a full life, that you always hear the stories after their passing. And I think sometimes as elected officials, it's okay to say that, and what I heard is that people disagreed with her but respected her, or disagreed with her and yet she helped them get something for their community. And I think sometimes we jump past those moments where people do things that we all agree with because we're so focused on the yes and the no's and what side and what party and all this, and that there's so much opportunity, I think, and I think now more than ever, with the tenor and the conversations that we aren't having because everybody's yelling and making up wild things, that taking a moment to thank people while they're here for the work that they do would be a really good step. It doesn't take a tragedy or someone passing for us to be able to acknowledge that someone did something out of kindness, so that people may see the fact that we're all together in this, that we're all striving to help people, and that we all are trying to get to the same spot. We just might have different paths. So, thank you.
Commissioner Conley?
Thank you. I'm so happy that we can continue to lift up Speaker Hortman and her family's legacy to get today. And I am moved by the fact that when someone dedicates their life to public service, that is a special quality in a person's character that I don't think can be duplicated. When someone says, I am turning my life over to the service of the public and will do everything that they can to pass policies that change people's lives, to pass policies and laws that save people's lives, that put food in children's mouths, this is work that often sometimes goes without thanks, but it's work that is life-changing. And I think it's a privilege to be able to serve in that capacity. And I also am so grateful for the final resolving clause that as a board, we are denouncing political violence and we are calling it out for what it is, and that's intensifying violent language and rhetoric directed at public servants, people who I admire the most, who dedicate themselves to the betterment of others often less fortunate than our own selves. Giving all of ourselves to the service of others is something that we should lift up and should never result in a target. So again, I know that my family will be doing something, whether big or small, to make our community just a little bit better for someone else, whether that be we plant a new plant before the summer's out or we plant a tree. We're going to do something to continue to honor the legacy of Speaker Hortman and her family, and to ensure that we continue to denounce the extremely divisive environment that our political landscape has become. Thank you.
Commissioner Anderson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think I met Speaker Hortman probably in maybe her second campaign, and was immediately struck by how dedicated she was to her community. And getting to know her over the years in various roles, whether I was in the community as an elected official, seeing her work and her passion for trying to do what she saw was right, regardless of the political odds, or if it was going to gain her political favor, I think was a testament to that commitment to public service, to trying to help people. And I hope that in the work we do that so often overlaps with state policy, that we're able to follow in that same vein. So, thank you.
Commissioner Goodell.
Thank you. The Speaker presided over one of the most productive legislators during that trifecta. We'll probably not see that maybe in our lifetime. Again, the work that she did was absolutely incredible. And to my colleague, Heather Edison, I'm sure you're feeling this pretty deeply, having just worked with her and coming to the county board. And you know her leadership style better than anybody. She was a master negotiator, but she gained her leadership through respect. And that's very different than a lot of other leadership we see today. And that is something well accomplished. People really respected her, and that's why they fell in line, and that's why they supported her. All of us on this board were touched by her, one way or another, some of us more than others. I think we're all still processing this grief, and I think we're feeling the weight of her loss, and we will feel it for a very long time. Thank you.
Yes, thanks. Thanks for all of the words, colleagues. I'll repeat how I had described her when we spoke about her a couple weeks ago. Just to place a kind of a picture. You know, Melissa was very personable. She was attentive, open, determined. She had a quiet fierceness, a balanced tenacity, and an inquisitive studiousness. I mean, she really, Jeff's normally the one that kind of swears. I mean, she was a total badass, and I met her closer to 30 than 40, my age when I started in politics. And there were a number of women who had to run 3 times, 2, 3, 4 times to win. And that's this whole category of like resilience and tenacity. And we're going to feel her loss for a long time, and obviously very different circumstances, but with the trifecta being named multiple times, the 2 women who led those chambers in 23, are both no longer with us, Senator Carrie Zietzik. And so from a Hennepin perspective, Hennepin former county workers, we lost Diane not long prior to that. And so no one should have to live in fear when they choose public service or choose to run for office. And so I hope the workforce and residents are hearing us take this seriously. And I hope people still run. I can't quite recommend the job, but I hope people are moved enough to run anyway. So, as a reminder, this was the Hennepin highlight portion. We will vote on this proclamation if there's nothing further on the Hennepin highlight portion. So the amended agenda moved 13E, honoring the life and legacy of Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman, offered by all commissioners, which was already read by Maria Rose, to immediately after the Hennepin highlight. So I will move that. May I have a second? Second by everybody? Yeah, it's already been read. Any further discussion, colleagues, prior to voting? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously, and I know we're sounding very somber up here because it is very sad, and we will seek to live up to her legacy through our governing and through our personal lives. The next item on the agenda is 4A, which is the minutes from the June 10, 2025 meeting. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioners Lundy and Conley. Any corrections or notes to minutes? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Our minutes are approved. Item 5A through C are correspondence, and 5D to 5X are department communications. May I have a motion to accept and refer as recommended?
So moved. Second.
Thank you, Commissioners Lundy and Anderson. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 6 is commendations, for which we have none. 7 is commissioner communications, and we have several. The first one up is the grand reopening of Crystal Cove Aquatic Center, offered by Commissioner Lundy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last week, I got to attend the ribbon cutting ceremony for the grand reopening of the Crystal Cove Aquatic Center in Crystal. In 2023, the Hennepin County Board awarded the City of Crystal a $300,000 play area grant through our Youth Activities Grant Program to support capital improvements at the Crystal Cove Aquatic Center. The 55-year-old main pool was experiencing leaks and needed replacement. A community survey found overwhelming support to repair the pool, and a public engagement effort revealed significant support for incorporating additional features at the aquatic center, such as a climbing wall, jumping platforms, rope swing, shade structures, and improving the slides. This grant, along with support from the Minnesota Legislature, helped extend the useful life of the facility while introducing new amenities that encourage youth and teens to become more comfortable in and around water. Lastly, since 2009, the Hennepin County Youth Sports Activity Grants have provided funding to local governments within Hennepin County to support programming, purchases, and capital improvements related to youth activities, including play areas, sports equipment, arts and music programming, and water safety. This is a program unlike any other that exists in the country and has invested millions of dollars back into our communities to support our youth. I would just add additional point that I think is as important as this board and this county helps put money into cities to help train the next generation of lifeguards and the water and safety instructors. And I can tell you that having seen every city host a lifeguard training for the express purpose of recruiting lifeguards, because it's very hard to find them. My son has gone through WSI. He's actually going through lifeguard training at the U of M, and the first thing they have is a table to sign U of M students up to be lifeguards. That's how I'll put it. Desperate they are, and I would just say this, as I like to annoy my sons with dad things. The day you wish you had taken another swim lesson is a day too late.
Yeah.
And in our state of lakes, we want everyone to feel comfortable and safe in water, and that means getting them into water. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is celebrating Juneteenth, offered by Commissioner Conley.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So last month, June 19th, was Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day. Juneteenth is the oldest nationally celebrated commemoration of the ending of slavery in the United States, and this year marks just 4 years since Juneteenth was declared a national holiday, and I do believe that the county board took an action to make it a county holiday prior to that. We had several teams of Hennepin County staff out at events all across the county, celebrating, talking with community members, and sharing a lot of information about county resources that we offer. And we also had our own Juneteenth celebration for Hennepin County staff that I had the pleasure of stopping by. That was on June 17th, and it featured a wonderful performance from known MPLS choir, which we all know and love. I'm also just proud that we had a lot of county representation at all the different events throughout the county. And I want to certainly thank all of our staff who attended a Juneteenth event on behalf of the county. These events are just great opportunities to learn history and to connect with residents and community members. And if you're able to, throughout the summer, there are history tours at Fort Snelling weekly that teach you all about the Black history that resides right here in Minneapolis and Minnesota in Hennepin County. Thank you.
Thank you. We have an in memoriam of Andy Hoff, Councilmember Andy Hoff, offered by Commissioner Lundy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm deeply saddened to share that longtime New Hope City Council member Andy Hoff passed away on Friday, May 30th. Councilmember Hoff was a dedicated public servant. He was first elected to the New Hope City Council in 2004 and was serving his sixth term after being re-elected in 2024. Beyond his work on the council, Hoff also served on the Northwest Suburbs Cable Communications Commission for 18 years, better known as CCX. Hoff and his late wife, Juanita, were major supporters of CCX Media. Juanita was a longtime host of Northwest City Politics, a program that brought local government into the homes of residents in the Northwest Metro. They truly understood the power of local media and connecting residents and sharing important community stories. On behalf of the board, I would like to extend our heartfelt condolences to Andy Hoff's family, friends, and community. He will be deeply missed by the New Hope community and beyond. I just want to add that Juanita's program, which ran for 20 years, where she would interview any elected official who saw the desire to come talk to her, which meant an hour. Her husband was always manning the camera. So Andy was there, and Juanita always ended every program with, if people want to know more, if they want to get involved, how can they? And that was her whole goal, was just to get people involved with their communities and understand what was happening. And it was that was her whole goal, and she did it for nearly 20 years on a volunteer basis. So thank you.
Thank you. And our last Commissioner communication is celebrating Pride, which I'll read. June was also Pride Month, a month to recognize and celebrate our lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, and intersex communities. The last weekend in June was the Twin Cities Pride Festival. Hennepin County has participated in the Twin Cities Pride Festival for many years, and we had the privilege of participating again this year. We had lots of staff out representing us at Pride, including individuals from the Red Door Clinic, Hennepin County Libraries, Foster Care and Adoption, Hennepin Healthcare, and Human Services. Earlier in the month, our LGBTQIA+ employee resource group hosted their annual Pride celebration, which included drag performances and was a fantastic community building event. On behalf of the board, we hope everyone had a very happy and affirming Pride Month. Moving on to the agenda, beautiful bridge photo. Moving on to the agenda is 8, the claims register, 8As for the period ending June 20, 2025, 8B for the period ending June 27, and 8C for the period ending July 4th, 2025. May I have a motion for the full block, please?
So moved?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioners Conley and Cotel. All those in favor of the 3 claims registers, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. 9 is consent. These are items that would have passed unanimously out of committee. May I have a motion for 9A to 9O, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioners Lundy and Anderson. Any items that colleagues would like to highlight prior to us voting? Hearing and seeing none, I think. All those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 10 are non-consent items. These are items that would have passed out of committee but not unanimously, for which we have none. 11 are progressed items. These are items that would have moved from committee to board without a vote. First is 11A, loan to Hennepin Healthcare Systems, Inc. for capital medical equipment purchases. I'll move to lay this over to the July 29th board meeting.
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Cotel, for the second. We comfortable voting? All those in favor of the waiver motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 11B is the 2025 Watershed Board appointments, Riley Purgatory Bluff Creek Watershed District Board. So colleagues, for 11B and C, we'll be taking up appointments for our community advisory boards, which for those watching at home is a singular appointment process. But I do want to acknowledge Commissioner Edelson's comments from committee, which I know we've received and agreed that there can be an iterated way by which we consider these appointments in the future. But for now, this is what's before us, and just want to acknowledge your great discussion from a couple weeks ago. So 11B, yes, go ahead.
I add to that too. And I think that was a really great point that Commissioner Edelson brought up, and not only for the watersheds, but for other really popular places where we have a lot. And I think a good overview of all this and everything and where we should be and everything is going to be a really helpful for us and thoughtful about who wants to serve.
Yeah, so really thank you for raising that. Okay, so we have 11B. There are 6 applicants for 2 at-large spots. For those who've seen this process before, we will be naming a single name. The clerk will guide us as to who is speaking a name into the microphone. We did receive a memo for this particular body to, quote, fairly represent the the hydrologic areas of the district. So I just wanted to invite admin or somebody to speak on any guidance that the public might want to hear.
Chair Commissioners, I'm going to refer to Brittany McCormick from the County Attorney's Office, who is very familiar with this topic.
Great, thanks. Welcome.
Oh, sorry. As with all other watershed district appointments, the statute advises you to fairly represent the hydrologic areas of the district as you make your appointments. And the memo from Environment and Energy staff addresses that topic and gives you a table delineating where each applicant resides based on the geography of the district and where each current and ongoing manager resides as well.
Great, thank you. Okay, colleagues, are we ready to vote? Okay. Ms. Rose.
Commissioner Lundy,
Thomas Duval,
Commissioner Conley,
Thomas Duval,
Commissioner Gotel,
Thomas DeVal.
Commissioner Edelson,
Thomas Duval.
Commissioner Anderson,
Thomas Duval.
Commissioner Fernando.
Thomas Duval. And congratulations to Thomas Duval for attaining a majority of the board. We have one more vacancy for this body, so we'll proceed.
Commissioner Conley,
David Ziegler,
Commissioner Gotel,
David Ziegler.
Commissioner Edelson,
Leslie Storving.
Commissioner Anderson,
David Ziegler.
Commissioner Lundy,
David Ziegler,
Commissioner Fernando.
Leslie Stovring. So in the memo, David Ziegler would have needed a supermajority, and so I think we'll just try one more time.
Okay. Commissioner Conley,
Leslie Stovring,
Commissioner Gotel,
David Ziegler.
Commissioner Edelson,
Leslie Storving.
Commissioner Anderson,
Leslie Stovring.
Commissioner Lundy,
Leslie Stoving,
Commissioner Fernando.
Leslie Stovring. And congratulations to Leslie Stovring for attaining the amount of votes needed. And Ms. Rose, I think that's complete for 11B, is that correct? Thank you. 11C is the 2025 Community Advisory Board applicants and appointments for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act Board, WIOA. We will follow the same process. There's a couple sections on this one. The first is the private sector business section. There are 3 applicants for 1 spot. Ms. Rose, please take us through.
Commissioner Gotel,
Amanda Roosh.
Commissioner Edelson, Commissioner Anderson,
Amanda Roosh.
Commissioner Lundy,
Amanda Roosh,
Commissioner Conley,
Amanda Roosh,
Commissioner Fernando.
Amanda Roosh, and congratulations to Amanda Roosh. We have one more section for the WIOA board, and that's the higher education section. There's one applicant for one spot, so we can verbally move. May I have a motion to appoint Julio Vargas Essex to the WIOA
So moved.
as the higher education representative?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioners Gotel and Conley. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And congratulations to Julio Vargas Essex. So those were our appointments for today. For those watching at home, I know this is a very particular process, but want to express gratitude for all of the residents who apply for community advisory boards. And then again, gratitude to those who staff these boards, as well as to colleagues for what we know will be an iterative process as we seek to ensure that these boards represent communities and are reflecting, kind of the modernization, if you will, of how we might approach these. Any discussion on these sections? Go ahead, Commissioner Allison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just want to thank David Ziegler, who served three terms on the Riley Purgatory Bluff Creek Watershed District. I had called him actually before this to thank him for his service and let him know how I would be voting. And it's by no means equality to what his service has been very much appreciated. And it's just a fundamental belief that I want to make sure that our boards have different voices represented on them. So thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? We will move to 12, which is old business. These are items that would have been seen by this board previously and laid over to today, for which we have none. 13 on the agenda is immediate approvals, and we have several items. First is 13A, to award a contract to Donler Construction for the City Hall Jail Medical Unit Expansion Project at just over $2.3 million. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioners Anderson and Lundy. Mr. Huff.
Chair, Commissioners, consistent with county practice, the purchasing rules, this is before you as an immediate approval item. This is an award of a contract to Donler Construction, as was stated, using the best value procurement process with a request for proposals. Margot Geffen, our Chief Facilities Officer for the county, is present. She can talk about the specifics here and what we're asking Donler to do to the Adult Detention Center, our oldest portion of the jail.
Thank you. Welcome.
Approve a construction contract for the medical unit expansion project in City Hall, the Adult Detention Center. Currently, all residents booked into the ADC are seen by Hennepin healthcare providers in a very small space on the 4th floor. And then about 60% of those residents continue with some sort of care from Hennepin Healthcare. This project renovates that space. In addition to adding space on the 1st floor, 2 more rooms, doubling the capacity for care at the jail. At the same time, this project creates a better space for visitors who are coming to visit their loved ones in the ADC. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Oh, Commissioner Edelson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and Margot, good to see you. I guess I have a question in terms of priority commit or civilly committed people. Will they be in this space?
Madam Chair, Commissioner, I don't know the answer to that, but I can find that for you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Conley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Do you want to finish
I
that
do
thought?
know the answer to that, actually.
Go ahead, Ms. Geffen. That's wonderful, by the way.
Okay, just takes me a minute. This is a lower acuity, for instance, OBGYN on the 4th floor, lower acuity on the 1st floor. If patients need to go to the hospital, then they will do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Conley.
Thank you. So my question is really just about the contract itself. So this is a large contract, $2.3 million to do this work. I'm interested in Donlar and perhaps the NBE goals. I realize this is a best value procurement, but I'd like to know what sort of percentages this company will need to meet in terms of minority business and women-owned business partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioner. Our team is working with purchasing to identify what those goals are. This project was approved in the 2023 CIP, and so we're working with purchasing on identifying both the contracting goals and also there are workforce goals as part of this that are from the state.
Thank you. And just as a follow-up, do you know offhand what the standard goal is, or what like the absolute minimum is, or is there's like a threshold that they have to meet? What is that?
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioner. So that's determined by the purchasing team based on availability in the market. So if there are a number of drywall trades available, then that number will be higher. If there's a plumbing number and the disparity in the market or the number of available contractors are smaller, then that number will be smaller. So purchasing works really hard to identify where those opportunities to hire small businesses in the market.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of 13A, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 13B is recognizing pretrial probation and parole supervision week, which is July 20th to 26th, 2025. I'll move it. May I have a second? Thank you, Commissioner Conley. And I think I'm handing it over to Commissioner Lundy, who chairs our Law, Safety, and Justice Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This year, July 20th to 26th is the National Pretrial Probation and Parole Supervision Week. It is an opportunity to recognize these workers that play an important role in our criminal justice system. I'll have the clerk read the commendation, and I will have some additional remarks after.
Whereas National Pretrial Probation and Parole Supervision Week is observed annually during the third week in July. And whereas community corrections is an essential part of the criminal justice system nationally and in Hennepin County. And whereas the Department of Community Corrections and Rehabilitation is the largest county corrections agency in the state. And whereas DOCCR's dedicated staff and volunteers work to enhance community safety by promoting community restoration, reducing the risk of reoffense by delivering correctional supervision services to more than 21,000 juveniles and adult probation and parole clients at any given time. And whereas county probation and parole agents strive to act as guides, helping clients navigate complicated systems, and connecting them to supportive resources that improve life outcomes, reduce disparities, and positively impact community safety. Be it resolved that the Hennepin County Board of Commissioners hereby declares July 20th through the 26th, 2025 as pre-trial probation and parole supervision week, with special gratitude to the staff and their positive impacts on their clients and the greater Hennepin County community.
Thank you.
I would just thank you for that. I just wanted to thank the Hennepin County's probation parole professionals for your service, dedication, vital contributions to safety and well-being of residents. I just want to highlight that sometimes people who are in our care because of justice-related issues sometimes finally receive care for the addiction, mental health, and other things that have really driven them down a path. And so our professional probation parole professionals help bridge that, because once they get out, we need them to continue that success so they become productive citizens, because they become whole again. And I think, that key component where everyone wants to see someone once in the justice system and no more, and having professionals who care about that with the compassion really speaks to that. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I totally agree. Hennepin County has a long tradition of working one-on-one with individuals, with their families, seeking to pursue educational opportunities, job and employment services, as you mentioned, Commissioner Lundy. And we know that families are better whole and that people have stronger outcomes with this type of approach. And so I'm very grateful to this board and to boards previously for prioritizing, and of course, very grateful for the workforce that is doing that work every day. Is there anybody here for this item? Just double checking, because it's a week. Any other comments? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of 13B, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And July 20th to 26th is pre-trial probation and parole supervision week. 13C is the appointment of Patricia Fitzgerald as the Director of Facilities Operations, effective August 10, 2025. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioners Anderson and Gotel. Mr. Huff.
Chair, Commissioners, for well over a dozen years, I've had the privilege of making recommendations to the county board consistent with statute for your directors. And today's no exception to that. We have 2 director positions that we're seeking. They're new director positions in the organization. They will work with your recently appointed Chief Facilities Officer for Hennepin County buildings as well as Hennepin Healthcare System buildings. So consistent with statute and our open appointment policy, I am bringing forward the name of Patricia Fitzgerald to be your first Director of Facilities Operations. Patricia has been with the organization 16 years, is currently a director in the Housing and Economic Development area, and has been an innovator in creating what you all know is a nation-leading program referred to as Elevate Hennepin. And there are many subparts to that to help support small businesses in our community. She's a superstar. She's helped lead strategic direction in this organization. I'm pleased that she brought her name forward to be considered for this role. As her prior life before joining Hennepin, she worked in small business and was an employee of a company that played an active role in development. So she has real estate experience, design experience, construction experience, and mixed use and residential commercial buildings and single-use tenant spaces. So I recommend her and am excited for her in her new opportunity here in the Hennepin family. So thank you.
Thank you. Any comments, colleagues? We know Patricia's worked very well. Oh,
Excited to
yes.
see her move into this great position. She's a superstar where she was. She's going to be a superstar here.
Absolutely. Are you all planning on speeches, by the way? Yeah, so we'll vote and would invite you to come up. All those in favor of this director appointment, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations to Patricia Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. I thank you for the opportunity just to express my gratitude. I'm honored to accept this position. And I would really like to say thank you first to Kevin Dockery for being such an incredible, wonderful mentor all these years. And I want to thank the amazing team of people that I've had the privilege of working with in implementing the county's community investment and business support strategies. Their talent, dedication, and the outcomes they deliver are truly inspiring. A large part of what drew me to this new role is that I'm equally impressed with the talented team in facility services, their hard work, their depth of expertise, and the excellence they deliver every day throughout the county's portfolio of spaces. And lastly, thank you, Administrator Huff, Commissioners, and Marco Geffen, of course, for the opportunity to begin this new chapter in my career at Hennepin, and for the opportunity to support another incredible, high-performing team who does exceptional work in the service of the county's facilities. Thank you.
Next, we have another appointment, 13D, is the appointment of Luda Trandafilava. Oh, I've never said your first name. Ludmila Trandafilava as the Director of Security, effective July 8, 2025, which is today. I'll move it. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Conley. Mr. Huff.
Chair, Commissioners, another superstar with extensive experience in the county organization. Luda, as we refer to her, and she is always excited and energetic and positive individual, has been with the organization 8 years. She has helped transform the security division within the facility services area. She's reshaped its structure, played a key role in hiring, establishing its priorities, and then, which is, I think, one of the testaments to her as an individual and her compassion and service to our residents. She reflects in the culture and vision of the organization a trauma-informed focus. And it's customer service centered. You all know her from a few years ago in her innovative idea of establishing safe spaces, which that program now has been modeled all over the country. she has, and her team has supported over 100 individuals impacted by human trafficking and domestic violence. So I am pleased to make this recommendation here to you this afternoon, and I look forward to hearing great things from this new team that Margot will lead, and I can't wait to see and read about all the innovative ideas and strategies they adopt and pursue.
Absolutely. Any comments? I will say that Ludo worked with No Wrong Door for that particular project, but that kind of exemplifies what you're talking about, just the collaborative nature of ensuring the work gets done. So seeing no comments, all those in favor of, of Ludo as our new Director of Security, effective today, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I want to sincerely thank the Board of Commissioners, David Huff, Margot Gaffin, for appointing me as the Security Director. I'm honored, humbled, grateful for the trust you have placed in me. Security is not just about systems and procedures, it's about people. It's about ensuring every employee, visitor, and member of our community feels safe, respected, and supported. And I'm committed to continuing this mission with integrity and transparency. This role is not something that I step alone. I'm fortunate to lead an amazing team of talented individuals, people who bring not just skills and professionalism, but lived experience, compassion, and deep dedication to this work. They're truly the heart of this division, and this appointment is as much reflection of their hard work as it is of mine. Thank you again for this opportunity, and I'm really proud to lead and more and prouder to serve. Thank you.
And I see a lot of your team here. Would you all mind rising just so you could be recognized too? Quite the team you have there, Margot. I see what's going on. That's great. That is the last item of our agenda because the published agenda 13E was moved to after highlights. And so before taking a motion to adjourn, just acknowledging that the published agenda was the item that we've already voted on to honor Speaker Hortman, just expressing some gentleness with one another. There's such an immense amount of loss these last handful of years, but particularly it seems as though, lots of funerals this year already. And so I just want to extend condolences to anyone who is experiencing that loss or perhaps has a family member or someone in their life near the end of their lives. And so just trying to offer some gentleness and some care to everyone out there. That being said, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioners Gotell and Lundy. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we are adjourned, but don't go too far. We have the Vice Chair of the Rail Authority, Commissioner Lundy, who will be taking over in a second.
Challenge accepted. I'd like to call today's meeting of Hennepin County Regional Rail Authority. We have 3 items: approval of the agenda, the minutes from June 10th, and the claimed register ending May 30th. Can I get a motion and a second for all 3?
Second?
Motion and second. I see no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? With that, the agenda is complete. The meeting is adjourned. Take that chair, Green.